my mom wasn't my birth mom. I understood that by like the age of like 3 or 4. And my mom would tell me stories when I got older that I would cry myself to sleep at night because my mom and dad just gave me away. They didn't want me. So that was the first, as a 3-year-old mind, that's all you can comprehend, you know. I already have these issues with like the rejection from the adoption stuff, because that's a thing. That's like a real when a child is born, the first thing that happens is they lay in their mom's arms. I got put in a fucking incubator and left there for 3 weeks. And I'm told that the nurses were very nice to me, and they all cuddled me, and they called me Bam Bam from the Flintstones. But that shit fucking lives with you forever. I got really depressed. They put me on medication when I was around 10 or 11. I was on them for 5 years. I went through a cycle of, I was on Paxil, Depakote, lithium, and Zoloft. I mean, I was a cutter to some degree, but like I tried to fucking kill myself, and I was hospitalized. And I spent a week in a mental institution with a bunch of other kids just like me. And that experience didn't really help either. The drugs didn't help. The therapy didn't help. Because unfortunately, even a therapist is still a human, and they have flaws and make mistakes as well. And that didn't seem to be my path, so thankfully I didn't die. I remember the last real suicide attempt I had. I had one of those like knotted woven leather belts. And I was in my room and I cranked it. And I tied it off. And I remember the world going black. And I have no idea how this happened. Somehow it came off. And I just remember screaming for my mom, and she came in. It was probably like 2 or 3 in the morning or something. And she's just, in tears. And my neck was swollen purple and black. My eyes were bulging out of my skull. And that was... I'd like to say that was the last moment I tried to kill myself, but it wasn't. I found rock and roll. I found the grunge scene, then I found Pantera, and I found Typo Negative. And Typo was one of the greatest bands for me because Peter just wrote about the most dark stuff. And Phil Anselmo was fucking pissed about everything. And Maynard James Keenan had this kind of introspective, esoteric element to him, and I gravitated towards all that stuff. And all I wanted to do was play. I would walk around my hometown with my headphones in the middle of winter, it's freezing out, by myself in, this kind of yuppie town with, the albino kid with long hair, a leather trench coat, and a boombox, like blasting, that kind of stuff, or my headphones or whatever. And that was the only salvation at that point. The drugs never helped. I had fun times, I guess. But at the end of the day, it didn't solve any problems. And the only escape was listening to people that I admired and writing my own songs. And I find myself here years later. We wrote a record called Remember You Die. And there's a line in there that says, I used to beg the angels to take me away, to carry me away. And as the sand drifts by, I'm begging them to stay. And somehow over time, I think through the blessings of my family, my friends, my career, the fans of this band, the people who've supported me, as I got older, I'm like, wow, I'm gonna die anyway. And so now I don't want to so much, but I did so much damage to myself over the years that, it could go in a heartbeat. and I just don't know when that's going to come. I was very blessed to have friends throughout my experience in this weird fucking world that we live in. And a lot of them I still keep in touch with. They come to our shows when we play in Chicago. I keep in touch with them, on the phone or text messaging or whatever. And there were some people that truly saved my life back in the day. You're not the only fucking person who's dealing with this. You're not alone. And I don't think anybody in the depths of that pain wants to reach out, or has the courage to, or is afraid they'll be judged. And that's the hardest fucking part, because in that moment, when you're too scared to reach out, is the moment you do stupid fucking shit. And that's the moment where people pull the trigger. And that's the moment where people fucking eat a bottle of pills. There's probably only 2 people in the world that I've told this, and now I'm going to tell it on camera, within the last couple years. I went to the store and I bought a bottle of sleeping pills, and I went to the other store and I bought 2/5 of 100 proof vodka, and I was home alone. My wife was out of town dealing with family tragedy, and I ate half that bottle of pills, and I drank a bottle of vodka, and the world started getting really, really fucked up. And there was a moment where I knew if I finished that bottle of pills and I drank that other bottle of vodka, I wouldn't wake up. And call it divine intervention, or a passion for life, or a moment of clarity, I didn't. I think I put on like the Bourne trilogy or something, and I forced myself to stay up until it was out of my system, and I hung out with my dog, and my dog just sat there looking at me, and I swear to God I could feel her like, "What are you doing? Why would you do that? You can't throw the ball tomorrow if you die." And somehow that fucking saved me. And the point of me saying that is that even at 34, 20 years later, after being hospitalized and being on medications, I still struggle with that shit. Before we did this, I had to go outside and cry before we even came on. So, because it drums up a lot of memories that I don't like to think about on a daily basis. I don't want to go back to that place. I moved past that place. But I have to remember that without those moments, the things and the rewards that I have now, and the beautiful life that I do live, wouldn't be the same. Because I wouldn't be the same me. I'd be doing something else. I've gotten to travel. I've gotten to see the entire country. I've gotten to see parts of the world that I never thought I'd go to. I've gotten to meet, thousands and thousands of people whose story is just like mine. Maybe the details are a little different, but if I just sat in my room like I wanted to and looked at that thing, I'd still be looking at it. I'd still be in that place. And that would be a life that I wouldn't want to live. You matter, you're needed, and you rock.